Welcome back. I'm now going to take you through the two other methods used in the Path to Integrity learning materials, which are storytelling and role play. Why is storytelling used in the Path to Integrity learning materials, and why is it considered an effective teaching and learning method by educational researchers? As human beings, we are designed to tell stories and to listen to the stories of others. We are social beings, and sharing stories with others creates bonds and contributes to uniting communities and cultures. Besides this social aspect, storytelling also has some aspects that are important for teaching and learning. It helps to develop creative and critical thinking skills. With storytelling, we are able to learn more easily than with more traditional methods because it activates the creative areas in our brain. Storytelling also helps to explore interrelations and complexities. In this way, it helps us to understand each other better and facilitates cooperation. These are the most important benefits of using storytelling as an educational method. But of course, a story needs to be relevant so that we like to engage with it. When engaging learners in storytelling, they should be supported in developing skills that are shared by good storytellers. Perhaps most importantly, this is the skill to order things and to build narratives that are compelling and easy to follow. Furthermore, storytelling helps people in learning to speak clearly and to project their voices effectively. These skills are conducive to keeping people interested and eager to listen. Moreover, storytelling helps learners to develop empathy with various points of view on a given issue, because they have to immerse themselves in different perspectives. In combination, these skills help build a positive relationship with the audience, which can be further strengthened by using body language to support a narrative. Besides storytelling, some Path to Integrity learning cards use role play as an educational method. In a nutshell, role-playing can be conceptualized as an exploratory game in which participants assume an as-if character. The key features of role-play that educators should be familiar with are as follows. By using role-play, you as an educator can produce a learning environment conducive to dense social interaction. Similar to storytelling, role-playing also creates a better understanding of the role and perspective of others, especially when learners are asked to switch roles in play. When switching roles, they step into the shoes of another person, and thereby tend to better understand their point of view and behavior. In this way, role-playing can improve interpersonal relations and help learners to understand social problems rooted in clashes of perspectives. Because of all these factors, role play is a potentially highly effective method in research integrity education. So what are its potential benefits? First of all, it enhances classroom participation and thereby may improve the capacity to accomplish intended learning outcomes. More precisely, it's useful in raising students' awareness of the complexities of ethical questions in research. Learners learn to identify and criticize studies that raise ethical questions, for example, by taking the role of the author of such a study. Alternatively, they can take the role of a person defending the study to a peer review board consisting of fellow students. In general, students who design the scenarios tend to benefit most in terms of concept learning and retention. Thus, the more the learners are integrated in the process, the better the outcomes. Therefore, we recommend assigning the designer roles to the students rather than developing the design oneself whenever this is possible. In general, in order to use role play in an educational setting, it needs these three steps. It needs preparation and instruction. People need to be warmed up. They have to feel comfortable about their future role. Therefore, you should explain why the problem was selected and plan for a warm-up and a general and specific introduction to the participants and the audience. Then there will be the dramatic action, that is, the role play itself, followed by a discussion. This discussion should focus on developing an interpretation of the dramatic action. Finally, there should be an evaluation of the entire role play session including a sharing of views on the enactment and a subsequent discussion of the overall role-playing situation. So you might ask, how does it work in practice with the Path to Integrity learning cards? You can find the learning cards and the corresponding handbooks on the Path to Integrity website. The purpose of the handbooks is to guide educators in integrating their knowledge and skills into coherent and unique educational activities. To orient yourself and to prepare Path to Integrity learning card sessions, the first page of each card tells you what the respective learning card is about. Using the Path to Integrity learning card gives you both structure for your session as well as additional information for composing your lesson individually. With the cards, the time you save preparing your lesson can then be used to adapt the tasks, subfields, and phases to your group, allowing them to dive deeper into the topic. How are the learning cards structured? The heading outlines the main topic of the session, and you will also find a quote from the European Code of Conduct here to describe the topic that will be addressed in the learning card. The following bullet points describe the background and describe the broader spectrum of the learning content. Further, the learning objectives outline a series of expected skills that should be achieved by using this learning card in an educational session. To achieve these learning objectives, there are several learning stages outlined. These describe the different stages of the session, as well as the different classroom interactions they entail. Also, each learning card has a role model depicted on it. These research integrity role models can serve as orientation and identification figures. Significant statements from advocates for research integrity can be taken up and discussed in the session, which can be found in their testimonials on the Path to Integrity website. On the second page of the learning card, the different stages of the session are more closely explained. You can see learning card Y2 as an example, which has 5 stages. While the first 2 stages are preparing for the role play, which is stage 3, the 2 subsequent stages initiate the reflection and discussion phases of the role play experiences. In the third step, each of the Path to Integrity learning cards uses a dialogical method to provide an active and sustainable learning environment. The sections marked in pink on the learning cards indicate that students will engage in either storytelling, role-playing, or coming to an agreement. In these sections, learners are challenged in various situations to provide rational arguments, set common goals and norms, request that someone does something, establish preconditions for a dialogue, and weigh both pros and cons of different actions. To this end, learners need to show a certain amount of tolerance for ambiguity, communicate openly, listen actively, and trust one another. Each learning card contains a preparation phase. Thus, you can divide each learning session into 2 phases. 1, the individual preparation phase, and 2, the classroom education. The first step would be to become familiar with the topic. It's very often given as a homework assignment to the participants as a self-directed preparation. For example, to read a certain paragraph of the European Code of Conduct for research integrity. The next step is a task to be completed in the classroom. The aim here is that the learners connect the topic to their own lives. In this example, the learning card is designed for young researchers, and they should prepare a short pitch about their own research project. For this, they choose 3 of the questions and prepare answers for a 3-minute pitch. In the third stage of this learning card, a role play between researchers and evaluators is initiated. Each learner has the opportunity to present and discuss his or her research project, reflected through the lenses of the European Code of Conduct to 2 different evaluators. In the next round, the roles are switched, and the learner acts in the role of an evaluator and asks critical questions with regard to the research conduct in the project pitched by the 2 other group members. The fourth step is about reflection. Make sure you plan for at least as much time to reflect the role play as for the role play itself. Gradually guide your learners out of the scenario by allowing them to summarize and evaluate what they have experienced. Follow the instructions from the Path to Integrity learning card, or invite your students to share what they have observed in the play and how they have judged decisions and interpreted the actions of others. Finally, evaluation of the role play should focus on how your learners can apply these concepts in the future and use them to argue in favor of good, reliable, and responsible research practice. If necessary, provoking questions about honesty, accountability, respect, and reliability in research can stimulate a reflective analysis of their own behavior and their reasoning for it. That's it for Part 2. Now that both Part 1 and Part 2 are completed, I will, in the following presentation, show you how to prepare and deliver a Path to Integrity learning card.